Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us with another edition of Condo Insider. This is our new channel. We've transitioned over from Think Tech Hawaii because they retired. So we had to transition over to our own YouTube channel. And so we have today with us a really, really important topic. It's a hot topic dealing with condo buildings and not just condo buildings. It could be applied to single family residences as well, townhouses, commercial buildings. So it's all on, they have Aware Buildings has several products that is unique. I think it's probably the best that we can ever see on the market. And they have a leak detector. So right now we're going to talk about their leak detector item that is available for condos. It is already currently being used at one large condo complex in Hawaii. I think there might be some other buildings, but I know there's specifically one condo that is using it. It was installed last year, I believe. So Beatrice, do you want to introduce your team?
Of course. Thank you, Raylene. It's a pleasure for us to be here. I want to start with John. He is our chief scientist, and Adar, who is our VP of engineering. And last but certainly not least is Jerry, our founder of Building Link and Aware Buildings. And we're here to offer information on our solutions and just give you all of the data that you need to get really informed with our technology and how powerful it is.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about the water leak detection system. And I also want to put in a note. John himself, the chief scientist, he has and I don't know how to pronounce it, but he has an item that actually, it was a nationwide competition, and it's actually on the International Space Station.
Oscilloscope.
Oscilloscope, okay.
Yeah.
And then Adar, he is the world's leading expert on Lora. It has something to do with connecting a device to the internet, right? I mean, I'm so impressed. I mean, I'm like, wow, so we should really be proud to have, really honored to have both of you on this product as well, standing behind this product. Okay, so we're going to start off with the water leak detection. Jerry, did you want to start off?
Sure. And I'm going to cherry pick what I say just to get to the gist of the thing. Water leaks obviously is a very big problem for insurance purposes and others, especially with high rises. It's water leaks in combination with gravity, because if there were no gravity, water would stay where it was when it leaked, and it would just float through the air like on the space station. With high rises, and you have very tall buildings in Hawaii, it's a big problem. You all know that insurance companies are getting tired of the unpredictability of expenses, and they're passing this on in the form of deductibles and stuff. Our company has been involved in technology solutions for high-rise residential buildings for 20 years. And we're used to doing things right, no matter how long it takes. And we've done this right. And we've been rolling out the solution to buildings with hundreds or thousands of sensors. Every week or two, we have another rollout. We've really done it right, and we're very proud of it. I'm going to race through these slides a little bit, and then I'll give you a little bit of key takeaways. So water can be a problem, as you know. We have implemented a wireless solution that will cover a whole building, including 40, 50 stories high, and that's affordable and it's extremely easy to deploy. Our customers range from people putting small solutions in mechanical rooms, which is maybe 20 sensors, up to full suite solutions involving thousands of sensors.
Well, I want to put a little punt into this one. When I last talked to you, you were showing me this this leak detector, and I believe there's what I want to say is almost like a rope attached to it. You had literally licked your fingers and touched that rope or that cord, and it went off, right?
We'll do that. We can do that for your users if they can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, they're able to see. So this is this would be a sample leak sensor here, about this big. You can see
Yeah.
pins at the bottom.
Mhm.
It's about half the size of my palm. And if I want to detect leaks at a further distance than just where the sensor is, I can plug in this rope here, and this is a rope that I can attach this leak sensor, and any place where it gets wet, I'm licking my fingers, it's going to set off an alarm. So this is part of our solutions that you can put under a refrigerator, under a dishwasher, or some people put it under dropped ceilings.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes put a foot or two of this rope. Some people have 100-foot ropes. So we have, as part of our solutions, lots of different attachments. We've been doing this long enough that each building, each apartment, each situation needs something different. We've got it all.
I like that because, what's the biggest ones? The ice makers, hot water heater. If you have a washer inside your unit, those those things will leak,
Yeah. You mentioned ice maker. That's how you can tell if somebody's really involved with buildings, because the obvious leaks, people say, oh, bathtub and this and that. But people who really run buildings know ice maker circuits in refrigerators have been some of the worst sources of leaks in buildings for a variety of reasons. So
Yeah.
let's keep going. Okay, so not that people would not have wanted solutions beforehand in years in the past, but they figured it's too complicated. How do you get wireless sensor connections across 20, 30, 40, 50 floors, across 10 apartments from one end to the other, in all sorts of different spaces, or it's going to cost a fortune to do this, or we're gonna do all this work and it won't work. What does it won't work means? It won't catch leaks. There's a very functional definition of what the system's working means. It catches leaks early so that it prevents you from any big losses. Okay. We have solved all three of these issues. You see, it says 30-second deployment time per sensor. We very often deliver our solutions to buildings with all the sensors labeled and boxed per apartment, and deploying a sensor solution is simply a matter of taking each sensor out of the box, they're turned on already, and just dropping them exactly where the label says. So we've had people able to deploy whole buildings in really just a couple of days. They can go through apartment after apartment after apartment and get everything. We ship everything completely working and completely set up.
So when you ship them, they're all ready to install. But what about the battery? Is that one of those you got to pull the tab to make the battery?
No, it's on already. We ship them on already.
And
You don't have to do-
how long
you don't
does
have
the
to do-
battery last?
The battery, we have special energy saving circuitry in the device and the sensor. The batteries will last more than 10 years. We guarantee 4, but we've had many sensors in the market, in the field already, going on their 4th year, and the battery levels are in the 93rd percentile. The batteries are changeable. You don't have to throw out the sensors when the batteries wear out eventually, but that's going to be in years and years and years from initial deployment. Okay, let's keep going. So we've got a mobile app, we've got sensors. The solution involves putting a gateway into some central place in your building, let's say a compactor room or electrical closet on a floor, and plugging it in. The gateways have very powerful cellular capabilities. You don't need all sorts of wiring up and down your hallways and stuff. One gateway will typically cover 3 or 4 floors end to end. So you plug these into outlets every 4th floor, and then you deploy the sensors. There's a mobile app. There's an enunciator. Let me show you a little bit something about the enunciator since we're here. Well, actually, no, I'll save that for some other for later. So our solution includes the gateways that connect the sensors, the mobile app for provisioning it, the enunciator for telling you when alerts have happened, in addition to alerting you by email, text message, and phone call if you want to go to the next slide. If you want to know more about this amazing technology called LoRaWAN and why it's specifically great for buildings, not like Zigbee, Z-Wave, Bluetooth, all those technologies work for 50 feet. They don't work for 50 stories or for 10 apartments on a floor. So read this slide and Google LoRaWAN, and you'll be very impressed that the technology that we've chosen is the only one that works well within buildings.
And this is
What's that?
Ardash's technology.
What's that?
That's his technology.
Yeah. Adar is the expert on this. He's also been using it underground. He's associated with the Explorers Club in New York City, and there's a group of them that are trying to do this underground in caves. It's very scary stuff, this caves. But
Well, I think this will be probably popular for like even emergency services people, when they have to go to, weird places. I know that was one of the big issues with 9/11 was their communications. That
Right.
After that, they've made some drastic improvements in those situations. So I can imagine like in New York going underground into the sewers and, all those locations like that. Yeah, that communication would be important.
Well, he actually goes into real caves, which are much deeper and much longer than I ever imagined. And it's not for the faint of heart. But we can move on to the next screen and the next one. This is all technical stuff. Flexible alerting rules. The sensors check for leaks every second. Okay, what happens when they find a leak? Well, you could set up your own rules. You could say, don't do anything, wait a minute, because probably it's some housekeeper who got water on the floor and she's going to hear it beeping and she'll wipe it up and it'll be fine. Wait a minute or wait 2 minutes or alert me immediately. You could say, alert me by phone, alert me by text, alert me by automated phone call or by Enunciator. Enunciator is a little box, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Here's an Enunciator box. It sits on the front desk. It's got a screen. It's got speakers. And it announces whenever you get an alert. Alert. Water has been detected in apartment 1705 under the refrigerator or under the dishwasher. Very great for your staff to be able to hear and see this, even if they're not looking at their phones.
So it's your little Alexa.
That's exactly right, but very customized. And in the next video, I'll show you a little more about what else you could do with the Enunciator. You get really good analytics. You can see which floors and which units are leaking more often and are having alerts. It also pulls in temperature and humidity, so you can tell if somebody maybe has left their air conditioning off and it's getting too humid, or if there's some other problem. People use these sensors for temperature in different ways as well, not just for leak detection, to detect that there's something wrong in the kitchen. Somebody maybe left the stove on because it's getting very hot in there or something. But you could see all of your data, battery life, everything. You could see a lot and you could do a lot, but some of our customers say, do I have to see anything? Do I have to log in? Do I need to use the mobile app? Do I need to see the analytics? Can't it just tell me when it needs my attention? And the answer is yes. You don't have to. If you like data, if you like knowing that everything's working, if you like your EKG data, you're a geek, you like that stuff, you can see everything transparent. If you just want to know that your heart's working, if you just want to know that your building is dry and let me know when I got to go up and take action, it'll do that as well. You don't have to look at anything.
So what about when on those sensors, like some people like taking hot steaming showers, and you have a sensor in there, is it going to be able to detect the difference?
So it could, but it won't set it off. Okay. Unless you're putting a sensor in a shower, a bathroom sensor will not be set off by the water generated by a steaming shower.
Okay.
If you had a steam pipe or something, you could set an alert if you wanted to for humidity level, or if somebody thinks that they maybe have a leak inside a wall, they have a mold or something. So these sensors, you can set alerts not just for leaks, but for extreme humidities, if you're looking to track something down. So it gives you that data, but we don't really have false positives. When we have false positives, it's usually somebody who doesn't know that there's a leak, and then a day later they get another leak and they still don't find it and they ignore it. And then 2 days later, the person below them complains, hey, I've got water coming in my ceiling. So really, you don't get, the sensors go off when there's water there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move forward. Control panel lets you change your alerts, lets you configure sensors, lets you replace them, lets you change the intervals, the phone numbers of who gets alert or when. Very, very flexible. You have complete control and visibility into the solution. Next. Okay. So what I wanted to say was we've been doing this for many, many years. The technology that we've implemented is fantastic. When you want to connect up, and this will be almost my final statement on this topic, when you want to connect up hundreds or thousands of sensors in a building, it's a little bit like trying to have a conversation in a sports bar, okay? Everybody is shouting out at the same time, and nobody can hear each other. For radio frequencies, you need to be able to manage it. That's what our system does. It communicates with every single sensor every hour. The ones that are very close to the gateways, it says, shh, you can whisper. You don't need to shout. I'm hearing you loud and clear. The ones that are further away, tucked under some sink and some guest bedroom, it says, you better power up a little bit because I'm not hearing you enough. Okay. And it's very, very special technology to make all this thing work. And it works, again, like a charm. And it's virtually maintenance free. The sensors last forever. They don't have to pair with the gateways. They automatically, as soon as you turn a sensor on, it's heard, it's registered, it works. And again, the technology, we manage every single hour, the entire network to tune it to make sure it's all working perfectly. Because when you have a leak, it's a little bit too late to say, oh yeah, gee, this sensor stopped working 6 months ago and I didn't realize it. That does not happen with our system.
Okay. This is a case study.
Yeah, we have so many case studies now collecting. They're so interesting. These are two good examples. Lately, we've been putting gateways outdoors, not just indoors, and we've been getting very, very, very good coverage on tall buildings. We have a way of deploying gateways on the outside of a building, first floor and top floor, that gives us tremendously strong coverage, even across 50 stories. So these case studies were before we perfected the outdoor gateway technology, but still, they're impressive.
More case studies. Yeah, I mean, these are really, really cool. Insurability.
Right. We have a form that we give your building, we fill out, which documents the solution that you've implemented, the sensors, the rooms, the floors, the this, the that, the alerting, or the information for the insurance company to ask more about the solution if they want to, which you can give to all of the people in your condos, and they can negotiate with their insurance companies and say, look, I've got this system in place. It works. Call them.
Yeah, because I know one of our one of our biggest insurance associates, she's always on everybody to, if they have a policy with her, to send her updates of what they've done in the building, like big repairs. I know for my unit, I had to provide her the upgrades, because everybody forgets that you're only going to get insured to as built, which are those.
It's a combo of letting the insurance companies know that you've put this in place, and then letting them see over the next year or two that it works. That leaks are being caught, that you're not having any of these things that run for hours and hours and hours, and then once they see that, that's the missing piece. Knowing what you've done, but then tracking the loss records. Insurance companies are really, really good at that across units, across buildings, and your building can say, look at this, we've caught 20 leaks and we've had no leaks of any great size as compared to last year and the year before. This stuff works. Stick this in your actuarial tables. And what I tell people is the best thing you can do to save money on insurance is to make your building desirable to insurance companies by not having unpredictable losses. Because the way to keep your money down is competition. If you've got 4 insurance companies eager to insure your building because you have a low loss record, you're going to get lower rates. If your loss record is high and people don't want the exposure and you're stuck with only one company that wants to do you a favor and insure you, you've got no leverage. So this solution makes your building desirable for insurance companies, not just because you've got a system, but because over the next 2 years, they and you will see that you're not using up your deductible. It's not happening. You're catching things.
And I know we had mentioned when we talked previously, the installation was like you don't need a technician or electrician. It's a easy setup to install.
Right. It comes already completely pre-configured. You just need outlets for the gateways, and you need fingers for picking up the sensors from the box, reading the labels, putting them where it says. Fingers, eyes, and a couple of outlets.
Okay.
We have a lot of wiring technology options for if you want to put sensors in places, gateways in places where you don't have internet. But lately, we've just been doing it all with cellular because it works fine. But if you happen to have a building in a place where cellular does not work, and our cellular gateways are tri-band, they will look for the 3 strongest networks in the neighborhood. But if you have a place where cellular for some reason does not work, we have other technologies for getting internet across 50 stories that does not require expensive cabling.
Yeah, because I think the one that has it installed that I know, he had to have another outside party come in, I think, to do something with the Wi-Fi.
They may want to do that, but you don't have to do it.
Right.
And again, there are several really amazing, relatively new technologies out there that provide internet wirelessly, over 10, 20 stories at a time without running any wires. There's some interesting.
Yeah, because I think his building is older anyways too, so I think he needs to increase it in order for these to work to the optimum that it needs to.
But our new cellular gateways with tri-band, they work. They just work. People just plug them in and that's it. An hour later, they've got their whole building covered.
Let me make this one a little bit bigger. So here's to kind of recap everything a little bit. So Aware Buildings has a family of products. So not just leak detectors, they have like on the picture, it has the shutoffs. They do fitness monitoring, parking management, mailbox monitoring, kind of like an announcement that the mail's in. The door jar one, which is one that we're going to talk about next in the next show. And then HVAC system monitoring, which would be really good for high rises, elevator monitoring, occupancy monitoring, and also your pump. If anybody has pumps on their roofs, right?
Anything on the roof, nobody likes to go up to the roof to check things. So anything up on the roof that you think might need monitoring, water level, some pump, anything it can all be done wirelessly, and it costs 3% of what the wired solutions would have cost. If you wanted to call Johnson Controls and Honeywell or Siemens, you would never put sensors in these places because it'll cost you $5,000 per sensor by the time they finish running wires and boards and everything. You'd never do it. So that's our mission. Our mission is to bring wireless sensors and literally 3 cents on the dollar. And roofs are great places to put them because, again, nobody likes to go up into the roof to check things.
Right.
And yet they're things that need to be checked.
So, and one of the other things with aware buildings is their communication portal, right? You have what you call front desk operations, but like a lot of condos here use Town Square. I know Hawaiiana has another name for their product. I know another condo has their own software, but one of the unique things that you have is your that I was really interested in was the alerts. Like if a building went onto your system, they have you have ability to text message everybody, like on an emergency, or we have an emergency water shut off, you know, to alert
Right.
via phone rather than posting signs all over the building. You know, you're gonna
Right.
miss somebody.
Right. So we emanated from Building Link, the company that I started 20 years ago. And even though we do our sensor stuff separately, but Building Link is a tremendously powerful, easy to use, very broad-based platform for residential properties, package tracking, amenity reservations, emergency broadcast, equipment maintenance, recurring tasks, lots and lots of stuff. We even have a pet registry where people can upload pictures of the dogs and cats in case you see anything running around, you know whose it is. It's a very, very wonderful, very powerful software platform for all the record keeping and task tracking and communicating. And for emergencies, it's very good because it lets you text or email or call everybody in your building with a single click with a message.
Yeah, and that to me is the most important part of it versus calling everybody one by one. You can do a mass text to everybody, or even a mass email, right?
Or even mass calls, because the system will be your auto robocaller for you, and it will do like 30 calls a minute, and and people will get a message. The same text that you type in a text message, you can click an option to say also call. So you get a text and you get a call, and it'll use text to speech. It'll read that announcement to people. So it's a very, very robust system. Building Link. It has many modules for tracking incident reports, amenity reservation calendars.
Great.
You have
Okay.
people.
So just to add, we are featuring aware buildings on our August 8th seminar, along with our CPACE financing department. They will be doing a presentation on our CPACE financing, and everybody has to remember, because we're kind of at a critical period because we're already a year into benchmarking. So it's going to be critical because we know there's other steps involved in benchmarking that really hasn't been revealed to us, but we just know from other industry people that are involved in benchmarking, because we're only in step one, the initial reporting period. So the CPACE financing is going to be really critical for capital improvement types of financing, and it could be related to benchmarking because CPACing financing will finance for energy efficiency, so like solar, or if you need to do some kind of energy efficient upgrades that's related to benchmarking, that would be your avenue for financing, because it just got signed yesterday by the governor. And then so we'll have also aware buildings doing a presentation, a full-on presentation on their product as well. That'll be August 8th at the Oahu Country Club, which is the one off the Poly. And you can register online at hawaiicouncil.org. Okay, so I want to thank you for being here. And then we will start on our next show. We're going to feature one of your other products, which I really like. I think that's kind of cool. I think that's very useful for everybody on the door monitoring. So I will see you on our next show. Okay.